Have you ever noticed yourself moving more slowly than before? Maybe getting out of bed feels harder. A short walk around the block leaves you more tired than you expect. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Getting older brings changes, but you don't have to accept them as your only option. Think about Tina. She's 72. Lately, she saw that her legs weren't as quick. She once climbed stairs without a thought. Now she paused at each step, sometimes holding the railing for balance. It worried her. She didn't want to lose her freedom. She assumed slowing down was just part of aging. But what if it wasn't? It's never too late to rebuild your strength and feel more energetic. You can take simple steps today that add up over time. Here are 7 clear practices you can start right now to move better, feel more alert, and enjoy each day with more confidence. But before we start, leave a comment below this video and let us know where you are watching from. Now let's get started. Number 1, learn what really happens when you stay still. Have you ever noticed how, after a few days without much activity, your body seems to protest at the idea of even light movement? Meet Tina. At 68, she spent most of her days reading at home or watching her favorite shows. When she finally tried to stand up after 2 hours on the couch, her legs felt weak and her back stiff. She wondered whether this was just part of getting older. But the truth is, when we remain still, our bodies respond in predictable ways, and they aren't set in stone. When you don't move, muscles lose their usual tone. They shrink little by little, much like a balloon slowly losing air. The fibers that make your muscles contract weaken. Your heart too slows its strong beat because it does not need to pump blood as vigorously when you sit or lie down all day. Blood vessels can start to stiffen and joints begin to lose the sliding fluid that helps bones glide past each other. Over time, what begins as a mild tightness can turn into discomfort when you stand or walk. For Tina, the first time she climbed her kitchen step again, she noticed a tug in her calf and hesitated. Yet just as a car left in the driveway won't start on its own after months of rest, our bodies can spring back to life once we decide to use them. If you begin to move, even just a little, you signal your muscles to keep their strength. Blood flow increases, carrying oxygen to every cell, helping joints stay flexible. Your heart rediscovers its rhythm, your lungs remember how to take deep, full breaths, and your balance centers itself. Tina discovered this when she started to take 3 short walks each day around her living room. At first, each circuit felt like a chore, but on the 5th day, she realized that stepping off her couch no longer caused that immediate ache. Inactivity sets up a cycle. You feel stiff, you move less, and then you feel even stiffer. But reversing that cycle is not about grand gestures. It's about small choices. When Tina first got out of bed, she paused at the edge to gently rock her feet back and forth, waking up her ankles. Later that morning, she used the kitchen counter to support herself as she made a slow circle with her shoulders, loosening each joint one at a time. By midweek, she tried stepping onto her porch step and back without holding the railing. Each repeat reminded her that she still had control. Your body responds to any demand you place on it. If you ask too much, your muscles and joints might complain. If you ask too little, they quietly weaken. But by finding a middle ground, short walks, gentle stretches, standing whenever possible, you send a clear message: you want to keep moving. Tina's balance improved and she felt new confidence each time her foot met the floor without pain. Her heart rate remained steady and she even noticed she needed fewer breaks during her favorite TV shows. Movement is not a special prize reserved for athletes. It's the language your body understands. Interrupting long periods of rest with simple actions, stepping outside for a brief stroll, stretching before you rise, or even marching in place while waiting for water to boil, serves as a reminder that your muscles and joints belong to you. As Tina found, once you break the pattern of stillness, your body becomes more willing to join you on each step, each bend, each twist. Give it that chance today, and you may be surprised how quickly your strength returns. Number 2, treat tiredness as a habit you can change. Most of us accept feeling drained as an inevitable part of growing older. Yet fatigue is often the result of habits, not age alone. Tina used to wake every morning feeling as if she had never slept. Her mind felt foggy, and by mid-afternoon she was desperate for a nap that left her groggy. She assumed it was simply how her body was meant to be now. Yet one day, after reading that dehydration and disrupted sleep patterns could mimic the fatigue of someone decades older, she decided to pay closer attention to her daily routines. She began with hydration. Many people mistake thirst for the need to rest. So by filling a glass with water first thing in the morning and sipping regularly throughout the day, Tina noticed her mind clearing. Next, she examined her sleep environment. Her television glowed until nearly midnight, and she scrolled through messages in bed. As a result, she lay awake longer than she realized. By setting a consistent bedtime and shutting off screens at least an hour before, she allowed her body's natural sleep signals to take over. The result was that she entered deeper stages of sleep more quickly and woke up before her alarm feeling surprisingly alert. Movement also became part of her energy plan. It may sound odd, but being more active can leave you feeling more awake, not more drained. Tina started by standing up to stretch every hour while reading or watching TV. Within days, she found her energy held steady later into the morning. She added a brief walk after lunch, which prevented the drowsiness that used to hit her like a wave at 2 o'clock. Each step seemed to clear her mind and boost her mood. Another shift was in her meal schedule. Eating heavy meals can weigh heavily on energy levels. Instead of large portions, Tina moved to smaller servings more often, focusing on balanced foods, lean protein, whole grains, and fresh produce. She noticed that when her meals were too large or full of processed items, she needed a rest soon afterward. By choosing lighter, varied foods and avoiding caffeine late in the day, her sleep improved further and her daytime energy rose. Within a week of these changes, Tina felt the difference. She no longer dragged herself from one activity to the next. Instead, she moved through her day with purpose. Her mind sharpened, her balance improved, and she even found time and clarity to take on a new hobby she had shelved months earlier. Tiredness stopped feeling like a fact of life and became something she could manage. Fatigue often comes from patterns we can adjust. Water, sleep, movement, and food choices all play a part. By being mindful of each one, as Tina learned, you can shift away from feeling worn out to feeling ready for whatever the day brings. You may find that your body is as eager as you are to wake up feeling alive. Number 3, change the story you tell yourself. Our beliefs shape our actions more than any external factor. If you tell yourself that weakness or stiffness is simply part of aging, you'll behave in ways that confirm that outcome. Tina used to say, "At my age, I can't expect to regain my strength." That belief kept her in a loop of inaction, but once she began to question her own thoughts, she opened a door to new possibilities. The process began when Tina noticed a neighbor close to her age walking her dog every morning. She assumed the neighbor was naturally more energetic. Yet when they spoke, she learned the neighbor had simply made walking a non-negotiable habit. That insight made Tina ask herself whether her own beliefs had been holding her back. She realized she could choose a different story, one where her age was not a barrier, but a part of her life experience. Changing a story in your mind isn't about denying reality. It's about recognizing where your thoughts have limited you and deciding to test a new idea. Tina started small by repeating to herself each morning, "Each step makes me stronger." She paired that with concrete actions, standing up after each break, reaching a bit further in her stretches, or adding an extra minute to her walks. With each success, her new belief gained strength. The way you think about challenges matters too. If you see soreness after a walk as proof you're too weak, you'll stop walking. But if you view it as a sign that your muscles are waking up, you'll feel motivated to continue. Tina reinterpreted her muscle stiffness as a positive signal that her body was adapting, not failing. That simple shift helped her stick to her new routines, even on days when progress felt slow. Mindset change also includes giving yourself credit. Often we focus on where we fall short. Tina began keeping a journal of small wins: how many minutes she walked, how many times she stood up from her chair without using her hands, or how many days in a row she slept better. Seeing these notes built confidence. She no longer compared herself to her younger self, but celebrated what she could do today. As Tina's story in her mind shifted, her actions aligned. She found herself signing up for a gentle dance class at her local community centre, something she never would have considered before. Her belief that she could learn new skills and strengthen her body unlocked real change. Within a month, she saw her balance improve, discovered she could stand on one leg without wobbling, and regained the joy of moving freely. By challenging limiting thoughts, you open up space for new experiences. You can choose to see aging not as a closing door, but as a chapter where you take care of yourself more wisely. As Tina found, changing your story can change your life. Number 4, improve your sleep for real repair. Sleep is more than rest. It's when your body does essential repair work, rebuilding muscle fibers, recharging energy stores, and clearing out cellular waste. Tina used to spend 8 hours in bed, but woke up feeling as worn out as if she had only rested for a couple of hours. She didn't realize her habits were keeping her body from completing its nighttime work. Her first change was consistency. She chose a bedtime and wake time that suited her natural rhythms and stuck with them every day. Even on weekends, she honored the schedule. This regularity helped her body learn when to release sleep hormones and when to signal wakefulness. After a few nights, she noticed she drifted off more easily and slept more soundly. Next, Tina looked at her bedroom. It was her favorite spot for reading on a tablet, and she often left a bright lamp on until she fell asleep. She swapped her tablet for a paperback book and used a softer, dimmer lamp. She also made sure the room was cool and quiet. Removing electronic screens and lowering light levels gave her body clear cues that it was time to rest. Her wind-down routine became a sacred part of the day. She spent the last 30 minutes before bed stretching gently, letting her body relax. She avoided checking messages or watching videos. The routine signaled to her mind that the day was winding down. Within days, she noticed that her mind slowed down too, and she fell asleep without the racing thoughts that used to keep her awake. On some nights, she still woke briefly. Instead of looking at the clock and worrying, she lay quietly and focused on slow, deep breaths until she drifted back to sleep. Over time, these awakenings became shorter and less frequent. By the end of 2 weeks, Tina routinely woke feeling rested rather than restless. Better sleep left her with more energy, clearer focus, and a stronger sense of well-being. Tasks that once felt like uphill battles, such as bending to tie her shoes or carrying groceries, became easier. Tina found herself greeting each morning with a sense of readiness, and her days felt more productive and enjoyable. If you struggle with poor sleep, remember that small changes can produce big results. A steady schedule, a screen-free wind-down, a calm bedroom, and gentle breathing can restore your body's natural repair cycle. As Tina discovered, giving yourself the gift of real rest changes every aspect of your waking hours. Number 5, break up long periods of sitting. Today's world invites us to sit. Meals at the table, shows on the couch, news on the tablet. Tina used to spend more than 8 hours each day seated. She believed that because she took short walks, the rest didn't matter. But when she tracked her actual sitting time, she was surprised at how long she stayed planted in one spot. Over weeks, her legs felt heavier, her back achier, and her mood dipped. Long stretches of sitting cause blood to pool in your legs, stiffen your spine, and weaken your muscles. It takes more effort to stand up, climb stairs, or even walk to the mailbox. For Tina, each evening she sank into her chair with low energy and rising aches. Recognizing the pattern was the first step to breaking it. She started by setting an alarm to go off every 50 minutes. When it rang, she stood and stretched. At first, she only reached her arms overhead and bent gently side to side to wake up her torso. After a few days, she added a short walk to the kitchen and back, just long enough to feel blood rushing through her legs. Soon these routines took only a minute or two, but made a world of difference. Next, she found ways to combine sitting and movement. While chatting on the phone, she stood and shifted her weight from one foot to the other. When she brewed coffee, she paced around the counter, noticing how her spine and hips felt as she walked. Even during commercials, she took the opportunity to rise and stretch. These small moments added up into nearly an hour of extra movement each day. The trick was weaving motion into her daily flow so it didn't feel like a chore. She placed her water jug across the room so she had to stand to refill her glass. She chose a louder buzz on her phone as a reminder to get up. On cooler days, she stepped outside for a breath of fresh air instead of sitting by the window. Within 2 weeks, Tina felt her legs becoming more alert and her back less tense. The simple act of interrupting her sitting sent signals to her muscles and joints that they still mattered. Where once she needed support climbing her porch steps, now she did so easily and with no thought. Breaking up long sitting periods isn't about trying to exercise for hours. It's about giving your body regular cues that it still belongs to you. As Tina discovered, even tiny moments of standing, stretching, or pacing keep your blood flowing, your muscles engaged, and your energy up. When you treat movement as a natural part of each hour, you free yourself from the limits of a chair and reclaim the strength you thought you'd lost. Number 6, get a little sun every day. Even with better movement, habits you've adopted, and a bedroom optimized for rest, Tina still noticed occasional stiffness and sluggishness. Her joints would ache unexpectedly, and on some afternoons she felt a low mood that seemed to come out of nowhere. After a check-in with her doctor, she realized she had been spending nearly all of her time indoors, her living room, her kitchen, her bedroom. She had never thought that simply walking to her mailbox or reading by the window could make such a difference. Sunlight does more than warm your skin. Each time your skin is exposed to ultraviolet B rays, your body produces vitamin D, which helps your bones stay strong, your muscles contract effectively, and your immune system function smoothly. As we get older, our skin's ability to manufacture vitamin D declines, yet many of us compensate by staying indoors or layering up with clothing that blocks the rays. Tina's doctor explained that even 10 minutes of direct sun on her arms and face could begin to restore her vitamin D levels and lift her energy. The change in Tina's daily routine was almost seamless. She moved her morning cup of tea from the kitchen table to her back porch. At first, she sat wrapped in a light shawl, simply feeling the sun on her skin. In the beginning, 10 minutes felt long, so she paused her book and closed her eyes, letting the warmth sink in. Without forcing herself into a full walk, she simply lingered outside, letting her body recognize the gentle intensity of natural light. Almost immediately, she found her mood brightening, her joints loosening, and her thoughts clearing. Soon, Tina began to look forward to those 10 minutes. On cloudy days, she opened her blinds wide and stood near the window. Inside or out, the ritual remained the same. Face the light, breathe deeply, and notice how her shoulders would relax. She discovered that regular sun exposure also helped reset her sleep cycle, making it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up feeling refreshed. As her vitamin D levels improved, she saw fewer cramps in her calves and less stiffness in her knees, making her daily walks smoother and more enjoyable. By making sun time a non-negotiable part of her day, Tina tapped into a free, natural booster for her body and mind. The simple act of stepping outside carried benefits that went far beyond warmth. It supported her bones, eased her mood, sharpened her energy, and deepened her sleep. And all it took was a few minutes in the light each day. Number 7, build leg strength with simple moves. When Tina first began her journey, she underestimated how crucial her leg muscles would be for maintaining independence. After a few weeks of walking and standing, she noticed that climbing even a short staircase left her panting and unsteady. She realized that while general movement helped, targeted strength building was the missing piece. Her legs carry her everywhere, from getting out of bed to taking the dog for a stroll, so she decided to give them focused attention. Every evening, after her sun time and before her wind-down routine for sleep, Tina carved out a small pocket of time, just 5 minutes, to work on 3 simple leg exercises. Standing by her kitchen counter, she practiced sitting down onto her chair and rising back up without using her hands. At first, she wobbled and had to pause halfway. But as she repeated the motion, she felt her thigh muscles engage more reliably, and she stood with less effort. On the same nights, she leaned against the back of her sofa and lifted one leg forward, holding it in place for a slow count before lowering it. The gentle burn in her quads told her she was waking up muscles that had grown quiet. As the days passed, Tina added one more practice without overwhelming her schedule. She stood beside her favorite armchair, rose onto her toes, then lowered back down, feeling a pleasant tension in her calves. These heel raises strengthened her lower legs, improving circulation and reducing the swelling she once blamed on poor circulation alone. The first time she climbed her front porch steps afterward without resting halfway, she realized how far she'd come. Over the course of a month, these short sessions transformed Tina's experience of her body. Her legs felt firmer, and steps that once made her pause became natural. She no longer hesitated on uneven sidewalks. Her newfound leg strength gave her confidence to try a gentle community dance class, which further amplified her progress and reminded her of the joy of movement. Targeted leg exercises do more than sculpt muscle. They protect your balance, support your joints, and preserve your independence. By integrating just a few minutes of focused practice into her daily life, Tina ensured that her legs remained reliable pillars under her, ready to carry her where she wanted to go. These 7 steps aren't hard. They don't take hours. They start with a few minutes each day. But over time, they restore strength, ease, and freedom. You deserve to move through each day with confidence, not fear. Pick one step to start today and build from there. Your body will thank you, and you'll enjoy more of what you love.